what professional investors do with refinance money. So today we're in a nice position. We have two refinances completing. So hopefully by the end of the business day, fingers crossed, and obviously having that positive attitude, both of the refinances should have completed and the money should be in the bank. Now, today's video, I'm just going to briefly talk about obviously what refinance is, what we tend to do with money, with the refinance money, and also if you're always thinking long term, what disciplined investors should really be doing with the refinance money. So hopefully it will provide you with some value. So, like I said, we have two refinances completing today. Now, one of them is a B triple R that we finished. Now, we finished the refurb just before the 4 month mark. It was a complete back to brick refurbishment, just a 2 bed terrace, really. Everything was brand new. Again, I'm not going to go into full details, but everything was needed for it. And the other property is one that we've had since 2007, and we've never refinanced it. So, talking about that one, the one we've had since 2007. Again, if this is one of the videos or the first videos you've ever seen me do, you probably won't realise that back in 2007, when we first started investing, we were uneducated. Definitely didn't know anything about the B triple R strategy or anything like that. It was as simple as purchasing or investing in a property and then looking for the so-called passive income to land into the account each and every month. So again, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but we need to understand now as disciplined investors that refinance money isn't just free money. It definitely isn't, okay? It's money that should be or can be used to reinvest, or again, it can be used to purchase liabilities and so on. Now, if you're watching this so far in, you probably understand my method of teaching and trying to explain things. If you're planning for long-term growth and you're in this for the long run, then obviously we need to understand the compounding effect, which I'll get onto later on, and how that benefits you in your property investing journey. Now, one thing my mentees asked me is, should I just reinvest it all? That's entirely up to them and you and your current in your position and so on, what you're looking to achieve. Shall I reinvest half of it? Again, it all boils down to yourself and your goals and your why. So for us, 95% of this money is just going to go back into another property, obviously one or two more properties, maybe three, to then obviously have the same rinse and repeat effect next time. So back 15, well, more than 15 years ago, 15, 18 years ago, if the money would have landed in our account for the refinance, we would have been really like, what we're going to do with this? This is a lot of money to some people. So it might be hardly anything to some. For us, it's a lot of money, but we can't then, or we wouldn't then just go out and just splurge on things and upgrade our lifestyle. Now, I'm in no way saying you need to live frugally and don't have any material things. Again, it always depends on you, and I mention this a lot in my videos. You and your Simon Sinek's why. Okay, why are you investing in property? Is it for the passive income? Is it to utilize the profits from your business better? Is it to obviously provide for retirement? Is it just to provide a financial or somewhat of a financial fortress around yourself? So it always ties down to or ties back to what you and you want really. So today though, really, it's a decision point. So from us, again, like my mentees, we're always hoping to not just provide information, it's more about that identity change. What would professional investors do? What would black belt investors do? Now, black belt investors would not just go out and burn through all the money on liabilities and so on. However, depending on what stage they're at in their property investing journey, they might decide, you know what, well, we're happy with our portfolio at the moment. We'll save some money in order to update or upgrade some of our existing portfolio, but the rest we might, again, put it on a new car or improve their own home or, go on holidays or whatever it is. Okay, so again, it just always depends on you and your level, really. But we've got to understand when refinance money comes in, it's a fork in the road, really. So do we choose to reinvest all of it, some of it, none of it, or do we choose to just obviously burn through it all? But it isn't free money. That's one thing with it. When you first start doing the B triple R strategy, again, buying property, refurbishing the property, refinancing the property. So we want to get the valuation at that stage, then renting it out. It's always going to look better when you've done the brand new refurb than when a tenant's in. Then that's where you, obviously with a BRRR, you think, right, well, especially during the early days, during the beginner days, you want to start to reinvest that. And you might have heard it, referred to as rinse and repeat and so on, or momentum investing. So we've got to understand it is a decision point, really. I keep looking over here because obviously I want to make sure that I'm covering most of these points for you. Now, refinances though, and again, still for us now, and we've done numerous BRRRs and so on, it still feels like a reward, which is good, okay? And although it does feel like a reward, we must understand that it isn't just income. So, like, if you've got your passive income from your buy to let, say your HMOs or your SA or whatever it is, it's not earned income as opposed to flips. Okay, so flips, that would be earned income. Okay, because you're a property trader rather than a property investor. And again, there's nothing wrong with either. It just completely depends on yourself, really. For us, flips come into the scene every now and again if it's too good of an opportunity to miss. But we must remember now that it will be earned income. So the income you earn, if you buy it for 100, spend whatever on it, and now again for easy maths, it's worth 200 minus everything it made you a 50 or 60,000 pound profit. That profit then is earned income, so you're going to be taxed on the normal income rates, really, rather than company company rates and so on like that, really. So the money hasn't been earned yet, it still has a job to do. So for us, going back to that two bed terrace, the BRRR, one of the latest ones that we've done, we've obviously pulled the money out, and then we're going to look to reinvest that somewhere else. But that property still has work to do. Okay, so each and every month, hopefully, because it was an extremely detailed refurb, it should be, fairly maintenance free for the first 6, 12, 18 months, fingers crossed. Just a side note there, if you start to cut corners on refurbs, it will start to bite you in the back, further down the line. Okay, you might be able to get away with it for a while, but eventually the problems don't go away. So yeah, professionals, black belt investors, they wouldn't necessarily always update their or upgrade the lifestyle. Now again, I like fancy cars, I like nice things and so on. Obviously not as much as other people might do, other people you might watch on YouTube and so on, but lifestyle is an important thing, because if you continually just reinvest, you're going to be extremely wealthy, keeping hold of it for long term. But understand that that money is a tool, and that's always a mindset shift there. Money's not necessarily going to make you happy. More money's not going to make you happy. You choose to make yourself happy. I don't want to be going all philosophy wise here, but money is a tool to help you access things. So again, refinances are good, of course they are, but what are we looking to do with that refinance money? What type of yields are we looking to gain from the money then that we refinance, or should I say that the money from the refinance we reinvest? It's always down to yourself, really. Now, the discipline test. Obviously, if you don't know anything or that much about the Black Belt Property Academy or even the Black Belt Property Accelerator, I'm the founder of both of those programs, and one thing that we always want mentees to understand is discipline is a key part. Okay, discipline will allow you to make sure that you're working towards your goals each and every day, each and every month, and each and every quarter, year, and so on. And understanding, just like I read something last night, and I'd never really thought of it this way, progress really is like breathing. We do it all of the time, but it goes unnoticed. And that's the same thing that you want in your property journey, really. So you might not notice it week by week, quarter by quarter, maybe not even year by year, but hopefully 10 years' time, because again, we're looking at that long arch, you will have covered some distance, and you will have built that wealth, you will have built that passive income, and you will have built whatever it is that you were looking to achieve, really. So again, cars and holidays are fantastic, upgrading your own home, brilliant, all fantastic things, but let's not forget that that money from the refinance still has to obviously do work, really. Okay, so just try and keep that disciplined approach all the time. Now, compounding, I mentioned this earlier on, compounding, if you ever look at Warren Buffett's wealth over, I think it was from when he started investing, I think he was like early 30s. I'm not talking like when he used to invest as a 14, 15-year-old boy. I'm talking about when he started to turn it into a business and so on, or treat it like a business. I think from that, he might have been mid-20s. I'm sure from about when it started to really compound was when he reached about 60 or so. And I think something like 80%, don't quote me on this, of his wealth has been generated in the last 20 or 30 years. So again, compounding is an amazing thing, but we need to understand that. So check out a couple of blogs on my website as well. I'm sure I've done some there on compounding and even the property cycle as well, inflation and how it can erode your debt. But have a look at those if you want any more information. Obviously, the website is my name, which is dervishdervish.com, and have a look at the blog section on there as well. Now, refinances though, they don't just happen. So, today hasn't just happened that the refinance is going to land. That's fantastic. There has been needed, obviously, first of all, you need to purchase a property in order to refurbish it if you're doing the BRRR to then refinance it, or you need to hold the property for however many years, trying to avoid early redemption charges, and then refinance it. But it doesn't just happen. It needs to be you with that systemized approach thinking. So, for instance, now next year, we know 1, 2, 3 properties that are due to be refinanced. So they've still got our initial money in plus all the refurb money that we'd spent at the time. So those 3 are on our radar for next year. We'll refinance them? Probably, but again, we're not just going to refinance them for the sake of refinancing them. We need to make sure that the cost of borrowing is okay, the properties themselves are doing well overall, and again, it's still a good asset really. So some properties you may, as your portfolio grows, may want to offload because they no longer fit your requirements or they're no longer providing the ROI, return on investment, that you're looking to achieve really. And your strategy might diversify, especially, like I said, when white belts beginners come into the Black Belt Property Academy. We're always going to analyze the portfolio. If they don't have any properties, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? Because if anything, that helps us to make sure that we're doing it properly from day one. If they come to us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, then again, it shows they've got knowledge up there, which is fantastic. It showed most importantly that they've acted and understand the principles of investing, and they want to now do it more professional and so on and achieve better rewards. And again, thinking about that long-term growth. So the BRRR, the one that we've completed recently, we're probably going to have about £12,500 of our own money left in there. Now, some people might think that that's a lot. Some people might think that's hardly anything. Again, it's £12,500. It is what it is. But we need to remember now that that's going to be providing us with just over £300 per calendar month each and every month. Again, there's going to be maintenance issues in there, but what I'm saying there is we need to understand the return on capital employed. So I might do another video more specific to that property over the next week or so. And you need to remember now, if you're watching lots of things on YouTube or reading lots of blogs or articles and so on, some people are still managing to pull as much money out as possible, but the metrics involved in that is we need to make sure we're purchasing it at absolute lowest possible price ever so that we've locked in profit from day one, and then pulling the refurb on budget or even under budget. And then not only that, the third one is to push through ceiling prices. So again, those are the main drivers really that determine how much you're going to be able to pull out of a deal. We knew that when we were entering that deal that we we're going to look to leave about 15, maybe £20,000 in it, and then hopefully, a few years down the line, if the property prices still increase, then release some more of the money. So we've got to understand that refinances don't just happen. Refinances are fantastic. It's not just free money, and let's think about the long-term plan always. If this is another video that you watched of mine, you'll know that I'm none of this, no hype. You're going to get financially free in 30 days. You can be a millionaire in 90 days and all that type of nonsense. Any business always needs a lot of work and a lot of patience and obviously vision to see whereabouts that you're heading and to see you achieve the goals and so on. So one of the main differences between an amateur investor, again, white belt investor, new to it and so on, and a black belt investor is their ability to see forward, their ability to delay gratification, and also their ability to understand that the more that they learn, it's fantastic, the more they can implement, the more that they can earn. But just like any black belt journey, okay, I used to say this to thousands of the students over the years. Every black belt was once a white belt, so we all need to start at white belt, definitely. But once you achieve that black belt grade, that's not it. That's not the end. Definitely not. So I'm a 6 dan at the moment in karate, but there is no way I know everything about karate. Okay, I've been studying karate now for 30 years, but there's still so much I don't know. And that's going to be the same with the property journey as well. We need to continually learn and we need to continually evolve. But not only do we need to learn, we also need to implement as well if we're wanting to progress and do well for ourselves, really. So, quick recap. Again, if you found any value from this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Um, Refinance money doesn't just happen. It needs to be planned. You need to have that disciplined approach so that when the money does land, you've already marked it as going, right, this is going to be spent there. We're going to reinvest this much. It depends on yourself. You might want to reinvest 90% of it, treat yourself on the other 10%. You might want to go on 50-50, but again, it depends on you, your family, your lifestyle, and so on. I hope this video provided you with some value. If you're serious, again, you'll even mention this at the end, and you managed to watch this 10, 12, 15 minutes in, well done. You'll realize that I'm not one of these hype property mentors that will have thousands of people in a room and then get you to go and run to the back of the room with your credit card and so on, and obviously sign up to various different courses. Now, again, I've been a mentee, and again, I'm a mentor, but as a mentee, we need to understand that information, I think it's Les Brown that says this, if information was the key, we'll all be wealthy, happy, and fit. Okay, so information isn't the key, it's implementation of that information. So at the Black Belt Property Accelerator, that helps you start thinking about things differently. But the Black Belt Property Academy, that is where the real growth and transformation occurs. So if you're interested, okay, just obviously check out the link, have a look at my website, dervishdervish.com, and again, see if it's worth you applying for application. We review applications on a weekly basis. So if nobody gets back to you, okay, again, we will do, but maybe apply if you're serious when you're thinking long term. If you're thinking you want to get rich in 30, 60, 90 days doing rent to rent type of stuff, then we're not for you. So hopefully you found some value. Good luck. Keep taking steps further forward. I wish you well, and you never know, I might speak to you soon. All the best.